The Prime card. The biggest YouTube boxing event ended around a week ago, and it included some massive names such as KSI, Logan Paul, Deen the Great, Slim, Salt Papi, and way more. But because it had all the big fights, we got to see some crazy upsets, and I'm guessing everyone's top 10 influencer boxing list has changed after that night. So today we're gonna go over the updated version and why each fighter is where they are. So starting things off, at number 10 we have Chris Tyson from Mr. B, but really at number 10 we have Logan Paul. He just won his first boxing match against Dylan Dennis, even though I think Joe Biden could have won that fight, but he also almost won against KSI and went 8 rounds with arguably the greatest boxer ever in Floyd Mayweather. And yes, I know Floyd was like 94 years old when Logan Paul fought him, but still, I feel like a lot of influencer boxers will be scared to get in the ring with Logan Paul. Like, this guy's a 12'18", 590-pound whale. Now at number 9 on the list, we have Salt Papi, and I think he's probably dropped a good amount in the eyes of most people. Salt Papi's now lost 2 times in a row. First to Anthony Taylor and Misfits 007, and now to Slim on the Prime card, but we have to remember that the Anthony Taylor fight was only 3 rounds, which means his total talent probably wasn't displayed. We also have to remember that Salt Papi has one of the greatest knockouts in influencer boxing history against Andy Worski, and although Andy looked like a drunk uncle at a wedding party, Salt Papi also beat Josh Bruckner by knockout as well. I think Salt Papi has a lot of potential in boxing. He just needs to work on his defense, because in both the fights he lost, he kept getting hit with the same punch, and he also needs to work on that chin, because Slim hit him with one good punch and this man was wobbling the entire fight like he was about to meet Juice WRLD.
Whoa.
Coming in at number 8, we have King Kenny, who also lost on the Prime card. Now Kenny has to have the weirdest run out of all people in influencer boxing. Like, this man looks pure trash in the fights he loses, but then looks like the best boxer ever when he wins. But although Kenny lost to Anthony Taylor, that may have been the worst fight in influencer boxing history. Like, all they did was clinch and throw some punches on the inside. Because of this, we didn't really get to see Double K Kenny's boxing improvement since he last fought Whindersson Nunes in July, so although he lost, I wouldn't say he dropped a ton of rankings just because it was a weird fight and he couldn't display his skills. Coming in at number 7, we have Walid Sharks, which may shock some people, but let me explain. Yes, he did lose to Deen the Great on the Prime card, but you still can't deny that he's one of the most skilled boxers in this scene. He has fast hands, good defense, amazing accuracy, good shot selection, and strong punches, which we could see from the first combination he landed on Deen. Just as an example, we could watch his fight against iPop, which was around 6 months ago. So if we look at the movement right here, you can see that Walid is circling away from his opponent's strong hand, which makes it harder for iPop to land a significant shot. And if we play it a bit more, you can also see his amazing defense by ducking the first punch, moving away from the second, and blocking the third with his glove. So even though he lost to Deen, I think if that fight went on an extra 2 to 3 rounds, it could have been a different story with the way he closed out, so he's still top tier in this scene. Coming in at number 6, we have the big nose himself, AnEsonGib. I mean, this is just a no-brainer. Gib is 100% one of the best influencer boxers. He has a record of 6-1 with 3 wins coming by knockout, and he's been on a 4-fight win streak after losing to Jake Paul back in 2020. I think he has the best stamina in all of influencer boxing. He has amazing determination, which can be shown in the Austin McBroom fight after getting knocked down and then absolutely destroying him like a 5-year-old cranking 90s on Fortnite. And he also went to the Kingpin finals to face Kenny, but that never happened because the company went bankrupt. Gib could have definitely been higher on this list if he fought a bit more. I mean, he's dedicated his entire life to boxing, but he's only fought once a year since 2020. Moving on to number 5, halfway through this list, we have the midget, Anthony Taylor. Now, some people may not include Anthony Taylor in the influencer boxing space just because he is a professional, but I decided to include him because he's been so active, fighting 5 times in the past year. He's taken on the people everyone was scared of. For example, fighting Salt Papi, who was very scary since he just beat Josh Bruckner by knockout, then fighting King Kenny, who also looked very scary after beating Whindersson Nunes with ease, and also fighting Idris Virgo, a 14-0 professional boxer, where he did lose, but he didn't get knocked out, which I see as a win. And although the King Kenny fight was very boring, you have to give credit to Anthony Taylor. I mean, he came in with a game plan of fighting on the inside, which was very smart since King Kenny was 5 inches taller than him and had a 9-inch reach advantage. Coming in at number 4, we have Slim, who's definitely moved up multiple spots after beating Salt Papi by knockout. Now, after his fight against Tom Zanetti, everyone thought Slim was overrated just because he kind of struggled against Tom and got hit with some big shots. And also, at first he actually declined the fight against Salt Papi because he apparently wasn't getting offered a lot of money, so people went after him again, calling him Slim the Duck. But after that fight, he definitely proved a lot of people wrong, including me. So my final prediction is Salt Papi by knockout. He also has the longest lasting win streak out of any other influencer boxer, being 7-0 with 5 wins coming before the final bell, which shows how much power he has. Now moving on to number 3, we have Deen the Great, who also moved up multiple spots after beating Walid Sharks by unanimous decision. Deen and Walid had their first fight 1 year ago, and Deen was definitely getting destroyed until he landed that right hand which ended the fight, but since then, this man has also been getting called a duck since he didn't want to give Walid the rematch, which everyone wanted to see. I mean, their first fight was probably the greatest fight in influencer boxing history. But the reason I have him over Slim is because I just think pound for pound, he can cause more problems for his opponents than Slim can. He has really fast hands, strong punches, a strong chin, and a good defense. But the two are definitely debatable. Now at number 2, I have KSI, who recently lost to Tommy Fury by unanimous decision. A lot of people online were saying KSI should have won, and some were saying that the decision is right and Tommy Fury won. But after watching the fight, I think it should have been a draw, especially because Tommy Fury lost 1 point for hitting KSI in the back of the head. But the decision is getting appealed, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But I think KSI has one of the best stamina in influencer boxing. He obviously has power, he has good hand speed, and he has an amazing chin, which we saw in the Logan Paul fight after getting knocked down and still finishing strong. Even though he lost to Tommy Fury, he still put up an amazing fight, which on paper shouldn't have been close. I mean, Tommy Fury's been boxing his entire life, and KSI started 5 years ago, took a 2-year break to focus on music, and still barely lost to Tommy. This man says he wants to be a boxing world champion, but the only world championship he's chasing is having the longest arms. And obviously at number 1, we have Jeffree Star. I mean, this man slash woman slash everything in between is just too good for YouTube. But it's Jake Paul, and this may be a bit controversial, but I still think he's above KSI. Now the reason this may be a bit controversial is because most, or if not, everyone thinks KSI did better against Tommy Fury than Jake did, but the KSI fight was 90% hugging, so it's hard to judge. And Jake has, without a doubt, fought and beat better people than KSI has, so I still have to put Jake above KSI, but it's pretty close. And one more thing, Jake has also been more active in boxing, fighting 2 more people than KSI has, while having a better record, being 8-1 compared to KSI's 5-1-1, while fighting better people. So this is my list for the top 10 best influencer boxers as of right now. Comment down below if you would add or change anything to this list, and make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to never miss future videos.